Hello, Internet, and welcome to Season 3 of Neon Souls. We were talking about like 3 different games before we went live, and I forgot the name of my own stream. Thanks everyone for joining us. I can't with this music. I'm sorry, y'all.
It
This
got
is
so
a
dramatic.
We are very excited to be here for our session 0 of our newest season of Neon Souls. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be playing Fate. If you missed our last season, we were playing the Cypher system, and before that, we were playing the Sprawl. So we're going for the hat trick with 3 different systems and 3 different seasons. It should be a lot of fun. A few of us have played Fate before. I'm running another Fate game on alternating Saturdays, which I'll plug here in a minute once we do our introductions. But first, announcements and channel stuff. We've got shows other than this one that you can come join us for throughout the week. Our next stream will be tomorrow, the aforementioned Fate game, where we're going to be playing Star Power, which is sort of a JoJo's Bizarre Universe inspired game. We are in our 2nd season of that, and it's a lot of fun. We start at 5 o'clock Eastern Time if you're interested in joining us, so we'll see you there. Otherwise, we'll have our stream on Sunday as usual, and then be kicking off the next week on Tuesday with more Tabletop Tuesdays. I believe everything else on our schedule is going to be, our programming will be as usual. If you go down below our faces, if you're watching us live on Twitch, you can see everything that we've got lined up. Merch, we've got a merch store. Links below us on Twitch as well, also in the chat. If you want to support our channel and buy some of our illustrious GGK merchandise, you can do so. One of the shirts or logos currently on there is inspired by this stream itself, our Gubba Bumps Shrimp Farm shirt. So you can buy that, a tank top, t-shirt. I think you can get on a mug too. All sorts of great stuff. So definitely check that out. It supports the channel. I am going to stop talking here for a minute and let my lovely players introduce themselves, talk about who they are, anything else they've got going on, and who they are making a character for tonight. Starting with Morgan.
Hi, I'm Morgan. I'm Magimatrix on the internet. I do cosplay and stuff on Instagram and Twitter, so you can follow me there. And tonight I am making a new character sheet for Clarity the Hacker.
I go next. Hi, I'm Savvy. I'm at Savvy Seaworth on the internets. I'm mostly on Twitter, where you can find my streaming schedule, which I need to update, pinned to the top of my page. I'm mostly here Thursdays through Sundays, either playing in games or running them. I currently run our Vaesen game on Sunday afternoons at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, in which a lot of these folks play. It's Nordic horror role-playing, and we're coming up on our final mystery, after which we're gonna transition to something else that's very fun. I think everyone's gonna be very excited about. And yeah, I'm also on Sunday nights on twitch.tv/lbhackemup. You should come hang out with us Sunday night this week, because we have our first session of a brand new Masks game. And I'm playing a character who is only a hero because she wants to promote her professional wrestling brand. And also she has cat ears, but I'm not doing that tonight, obviously. Tonight I'm making a character for Choke. I don't really know what she is. Choke is a big angry lady with a lot of guns,
ass beast,
and a robot arm and a chain.
We love big angry lizard women.
Big angry lizard lady.
So does the internet, apparently. So
yes, yeah. Choke is a big, strong lady who used to be a pit fighter, and now she kills people for money. And sometimes for fun.
But we hate small, happy lizard men.
It's not allowed here.
Nope. On that lovely note, hey, I'm Christina Sid. You can find me on the Twitters at Greek Sid. Usually just shit posting and talking about the stuff I do on the internet. Like here, I'm here on Thursdays, Fridays, every other Saturday, and Sundays. Also, closing down over on twitch.tv/infiniterp. We have our finale of Flames of Freedom this coming Monday, 8 o'clock Eastern. Should be a lot of fun. But we are, I am allowed to say, we are on board for a season 2, but not until the new year. So, tonight I am making a new character for Impulse. Impulse is loud. That's all I got. This is the most concise I can be about it.
So I guess it's me. Hi everybody, my name is Sam. You can find me everywhere on the internet as Smackaroni. I got Twitter, Instagram, pretty much wherever. I'm currently here on Friday nights playing Neon Souls and maybe other things later. But tonight I am making a character sheet for Chance. He is a biologist, geneticist sort of situation who just is one of the most awkward people you will ever meet, but also makes that work for him somehow. That's me.
And hello everyone, once again I'm Val, the Kraken's Crown on Twitter and Twitch. You can find me here Thursdays through Sundays, playing, running, doing shit in games, generally getting up to chaos. I run 3 different games on this channel. This one, Neon Souls, every Friday, as well as alternating games on Saturdays, Star Power, which I mentioned before, and Mistborn. We're playing the Mistborn RPG based on the novels by Brandon Sanderson. Those alternate on Saturdays at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. So come hang out with those. But tonight, that is not what we were doing. Tonight we are going to delve into making our characters, transitioning them over to Fate. So I'll recap a little bit of where we left off last time, because it's going to directly influence kind of where we're at with this campaign. Where we ended our season for Neon Soul Season 2 is our crew had escaped New London, fought off Disney, led by the malicious Nicholas Mouse, and destroyed Goofborg, Pluto Borg, and blast off in their spaceship along with half a dozen of their closest friends for adventures untold. And that's what we're going to be telling the story of in this next season of Neon Souls. So where we were at and kind of the ground that we're building out of is this spacefaring adventure. I think is our like base concept, and most of it is going to take place on this ship that you have commandeered and have escaped from New London on. We are obviously, as I said before, moving away from Fate, and we're going to be moving away from Cypher, and we're going to be playing Fate instead. The core differences between Cypher and Fate is Fate has a lot less rules, which hopefully will make things maybe a little bit easier on all of us. I really like the Cypher system, but it is crunchy as hell, like a bag of granola. Instead, in Fate, instead of using d20s, we roll a handful of these Fate dice, which have pluses and minuses and blanks on them. You add a skill based on whatever you have on your sheet, and apply aspects, things like that, to gain modifiers, and you're trying to beat a target number. It's pretty easy. It's not really crunchy. There's not like hit points and armor ratings and a ton of special abilities and stuff like that. It's much more pared down narrative, a lot more about storytelling, which is hopefully what we'll be able to focus on in this next season. I'm gonna change our music here to something a little less dynamic. This one's a little spooky, so if anyone gets too spooked out, I'll switch to something else. But had trouble finding space music. So there's one place that I want to start here. So the core premise of Fate, what we're going to get into a little bit, is kind of collaborative storytelling, collaborative setting, description, and building, and then collaborative character design. Before we get too far into the character elements of it, because all of you have your characters already, and you're just going to be sort of porting those over. Ooh, I like the backdrop. We're going to be sort of porting those over to this new setting, but there's some things we have to like define first before we really get into how we're going to be building these characters. And a lot of that kind of comes into how you define sci-fi and space travel, kind of what that's going to look like. Because we've been doing cyberpunk for we've been attempting to do cyberpunk for 2 seasons now. I don't know how cyberpunk I really got at the end. It got pretty out there and wild, and so kind of what I want to get into with starting for this season is deciding how out there and wild we are going to be from the jump. Everyone has the Fate core rulebook and should have access to the space toolkit PDF that I got from DM's Guild or not DM's Guild, Drive Through RPG. I need to find the person who made this so I can appropriately credit them for their work. But basically, this is going to be a kind of our building blocks and some of our changes that we're making in the Fate system to accommodate this sort of space setting. Evil Hat Productions. So yeah, it was the same group that made Fate, publishes their core rulebook. Also put out this Fate Space Toolkit, where they kind of give some rules and suggestions for doing a sci-fi setting. Where I think we need to start, and where I would like to start, is there's this aspect or this idea of the plausibilometer or plausibilometer. They define it, which is like how plausible your setting really is, because sci-fi bridges a very large gap in that. There are a couple of like kind of sample settings that they've pulled from here, which they have outlined or titled, very good titles. There's The Gods Know Future Things, which is has this like far future periods with this like epic tone. The idea is like it has these like big issues of like transhumanism. Basically it's like AI controlled star frigates that are moving where like people have long like shed their mortal bodies and have uploaded themselves to the ships, and their consciousness are controlling the ships and ferrying people and like colonists to new worlds and stuff. It's probably a little not exactly the direction I think we're planning on going to, unless all of you just want to like lose your character designs and just say we're all robots and AI now. There's the High Frontiersman, which is kind of it defines all of these by tone, plausibility, period, and extent. This one takes on like a high to medium plausibility, which means that like it's gonna be more grounded in reality, kind of follow very kind of literal like progression of space travel. There's and that one, there was also like examples that they gave here. So the inspirations for the High Frontiersman are come from, it says, a little like Dr. Strangelove meets the spy who came in from the cold by the way of the right stuff, is kind of the way that they're defining that. Just some very niche references for our viewers out there. Mass Drivers is the one that I am kind of the most interested in kind of taking aspects from. That is more inspired by like Firefly, and The Expanse is another one that they reference in this as well, which is like another kind of mid-range plausibility where like you have things like faster than light travel, and you have some room for like aliens and extraterrestrial creatures and strange, bizarre worlds, but we don't quite get into like the Star Trek level of like out there science, like fiction. We're more in the realm of like science fact, or somewhere in between. But I kind of wanted to get an idea of what y'all are more into. Like, if we want to go if y'all are more interested in having things just fully lean into the absurd. I'm not even going to say high plausibility because I know none of you are going to take that. But it's really whether we want to go to like low plausibility and go like Star Wars meets like HP Lovecraft style like weirdness, or if we're kind of in like that middle ground, which is like that Firefly kind of like Gundam-esque, like we have mechs and we travel through space long distances, but it's a little more like tactile in nature and less like ethereal. Does anyone have any like thoughts on any of that?
Well, playing a biologist, I really like the idea of staying a little bit higher plausibility, because I can fuck around easier that way. If we get really low plausibility, so I'm just talking about like myself personally, why I want to do it, but if we go really low plausibility, I kind of lose a lot of the, like, my character loses some purchase in the game, I think.
That's fair. Does anyone else have any thoughts?
I think Clarity should be allowed to use the Force. Just kidding.
I'm glad you're kidding, because I really
Are you?
I think mid-level plausibility is like,
mid-level
somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay. So kind of what I want to define with this is like where we see this with like technology and stuff. So let me touch on something else like pretty briefly. We're going to talk about rocket science a little bit. So just a brief foray into
as
rocket
a treat,
science.
you know,
as a treat.
It's like tabletop games.
Yeah. So everybody is familiar with relativity and space travel, I'm assuming, and thrust dynamics, and
we're really having this conversation at our Friday night tabletop game, aren't we?
I've heard
Wow.
all 5 of those words before.
So there's 2 aspects of like space travel. I'm gonna keep this very broad because the book goes into like, it's really interesting to read because the book kind of really gives like a like rocket science for dummies like crash course. It gets into some really cool stuff, but you have to really be in the mindset to want to go through it, and I'm not just gonna sit here and read out of it, but I thought it was really cool. But it talks about the difference between like it talks about the difference between thrust and specific impulse. Not you, Impulse, a different Impulse.
She's just a vague impulse yet. Right now, she hasn't made her character yet.
So there is in space travel, you have like impulse is, the way it describes it, is a measure of like efficiency of a rocket's engine fuel use. Like it mostly talks about like what kind of resource you're using to like burn fuel, whether you're talking about like actual like compulsion or propulsion fuels that we use in like present day versus some sort of space crystal that we're throwing into an engine and like traveling at light speed and stuff. And then thrust is like how fast you can accelerate and that sort of thing, like how fast your ship is and can accelerate in comparison to the relative velocity of other ships. Sorry, I was getting a message from my producer about the music. I'll go to something else then. That one's not really coming through.
I'm gonna stop messaging you and just start interrupting the show.
Normally I'm able to do it on the fly a little bit better, but that one threw me off because I had to go through the music too. So basically what this all boils down to is how fast your ship can travel. And how fast your ship can travel and how far it can travel. And that kind of defines the setting of our game. Are we interested in having a ship that can like travel light years, or a ship that can travel is moving like within the confines of like our solar system? And there are pros and cons to both, because the keeping us like within the solar system where you guys are traveling the asteroid belt and going to small like outposts and colonies and stuff within our solar system keeps us more grounded in reality. It also leads to less I wouldn't say less exploration. I think there's still plenty of like exploration, discovery, things that could come up from that, but we're not going to get it like as absurd and as out there as like a Star Trek. Whereas if we want to go like full kind of high science fiction fantasy sort of thing where you guys are traveling across the galaxy and going to strange places and alien worlds and things like that, we can do that. The downside to that, or kind of the upside, there's some narrative stuff that could come in, it has to deal with relativity and like how fast you're going and how long it takes you to get there and how much time is passing on Earth.
I saw that movie. It had Matthew McConaughey in it.
Yeah, exactly. If we want to go full Interstellar, and by the time you all get back, everyone you know has died.
Wait, is that an Interstellar spoiler?
No, I don't think I could spoil Interstellar.
Okay.
There's absolutely no way.
Bananas that it doesn't matter. So
okay,
it's cool.
just double checking.
Because the faster you approach. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I
was gonna say, you've seen Close Encounters of the Third Kind, right? They do that in that movie too.
So like the faster your ship travels, the faster you reach the speed of light, the more like the time, your time, relative time changes in comparison to like the actual passage of time. So like a year for you is 2 years on Earth, and so on and so forth. So the kind of thing I want to get into is like, I don't really want to go like full like Mass Effect or Star Trek, where we have like warp capabilities. I think that probably takes things a little too far from like our source material and stuff too. And also it makes things a little less interesting for kind of where y'all want it to be with the space pirating. So I'm curious like how far y'all want the scope of this game to go. Do you want to be exploring the galaxy? Do you want to be exploring the solar system? Somewhere in between, somewhere further?
I don't think these characters can be trusted with a galaxy.
Yeah, I was thinking like maybe the Milky Way, and then maybe like one other Milky Way that's nearby, maybe.
So that's like the Milky Way's the galaxy.
That's 2 galaxies. That's 2 entire galaxies.
I thought the Milky Way was what we're on.
Yes, we're in the Milky Way, which is our galaxy.
Oh my god. Anyway, so
do you mean a star system?
Yeah, I meant the solar system. Yes. Our solar system, and maybe
and
another solar system.
Maybe go say hi to Alpha Centauri. Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe a couple, like a star system within a star system, not within, which is still really far.
That's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But I figure like this version of Earth has like maybe like more colonies out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what I was thinking too. Is my thought for like travel is because you like look at like the Alien movies and kind of how they travel. It's like big slow ships and a lot of like cryo sleep and stuff, and months and years passing between like them being awake and sleeping. So it kind of like that level of space travel, they're going far and exploring like further reaches of our solar system and our like and our star system, but not necessarily traveling light. galaxies beyond and stuff like that. Is kind of where I was going.
More like we're like going to Mars, checking out the moons, maybe going to like Saturn's moons that are inhabitable, like all that good stuff. Okay.
Yeah, and then maybe like way out there, like y'all want to like completely, for like some big kind of clusterfuck, y'all can try to travel to some other like solar system, like planetary sphere or something. Like, we can play around with that idea too in the future. But really what that like affects is how much time passes on Earth, and whether y'all have any attachment to everyone back on Earth not being around if we return for a season 4.
Considering we brought like 34 people onto the ship with us, I think those are literally the 34 people that we like. Well, okay, Clarity has like her mom.
I was gonna say Clarity cares about her mom and would not like to miss out on seeing her mom again.
That was really the only one that came to mind. So if Clarity wants to be the buzzkill, I'm just kidding. If Clarity, if
rude.
If the matter of like having like decades pass and stuff is going to bother us, like as far as like our narrative goes and exploring these characters, then we can find workarounds for that. I'm okay with saying that. I just want to know whether you all were like interested in like the character dynamic and the conflict that could come up, like knowing that people might be gone when you return home, that you have been away for so long.
See, that gives me like an existential crisis to think about, even fictionally.
So we want to steer away from that then. Ship moves fast enough to not have to worry about that so much as an issue.
Wormholes, that whole
Ship goes zoom.
Zoom. Zoom.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I just wanted to know if that was something we were interested in discussing. Not that we necessarily can't get into those sorts of things and then find workarounds or solutions for them later on. If we end up going interstellar, how that might affect your group and how you figure out how to get home and be with your loved ones and stuff again.
Oh God, it's been 7 years. Sorry.
What I'm kind of more interested in, and kind of what the mass drivers setting as defined in the book gets into, is that it's a little more about like, I can read kind of a section from this as a treat. The pitch for this is: in a gritty, thin margins interplanetary economy out in the asteroid belts, deep space freight haulers try to keep their cobbled together spaceships flying in the black. But they may also be drawn into larger political and ideological struggle that will decide the destiny of human communities in the belt. And it's like this whole conflict between like people who are the big issues there is like life on the edge, which talks about Mars and the 2 major treaty zones of Earth to brisk trade within the asteroid belt through their well-appointed, secure, heavily insured, and thoroughly audited shipping lines. So that kind of expands on our corporate influences and seeing how they're interacting with some of these colonies and doing trade and their like sphere of influence extending. And how that's affecting people outside of Earth. And then there's also this kind of ideological, like political conflict there between, it's in the book it's defined, and we can redo this for ourselves, which is green belts versus black belts. And they're not versed in karate. The 2 ways of thinking about life in the asteroid belt, the green belt way and the black belt way. Green like money, black like space. So if you're working for a corp, you're probably a green belt. Green belts want to settle the frontier beyond Mars and think that Mars is close and Earth is far away. Green belts think in terms of place. It's a bunch of rocks between Mars and Jupiter, and the work done out here is mainly to extract raw materials from those rocks and send it down a gravity well so that it can creep back up as wealth, hopefully in the green belt's pocket. So they're making a buck for the colonies, and not really, and the asteroid belts are just like places that these resources are coming from. So mass drivers, on the other hand, should be kind of what y'all would be, or kind of this is the inspiration I'd be pulling from, are usually black belts. They remember that sometimes Ceres is closer to Earth than it is to Mars. Sometimes it isn't, and both planets are on the other side of the sun. They think in terms of tides. Everything is orbiting the sun in a complex network where the shifting positions of planets and asteroids and the needs of people create an interdependent web that sometimes can be cultivated to produce little payoffs, but which above all else must be kept in balance. Black belts are often committed to a principle of rational non-authoritarianism. So it's a little bit, I think that kind of lends in, and I don't mean to say, like, I'm not reading this because I think we're going to go like exactly this way, but pulling from that setting and kind of like diving into that, I think gives me a lot of kind of vibes from where we're coming from in the campaign previously. It's like, y'all are doing your thing, trying to make your buck, trying to make money how you can, whether that is through delivering goods in like in a legal way, or y'all are
stealing them from the corpse. Yeah.
We're stealing them from the corporations, because I think that's more of where y'all wanted to go with this, is like stealing.
We're red belts. We're about destroying the corpse out here and letting space run with their blood or something. Yeah. So
I'm gonna add
that's the
that
plan.
to my list here. Red belts. Destroy.
I was kidding, but okay.
I do like that though. It has a good feel. And that gets into more of the piracy like elements of things. And because how into having like warring pirate factions are we as a group?
You're speaking my language here. Come on.
Okay.
And then you get into like, you know, the corporate privateers and all that bullshit.
Yeah, because we could essentially like very closely mirror like East India trading company, like golden age piracy sort of things, and just like put that into space. You know, we have that like the like commerce flow going from Earth through the asteroid belts and into Mars, and y'all sort of existing out there in this like liminal space of trying to, no pun intended, trying to kind of intrude on that for your own benefit, and also to undermine the people that are doing it, kind of like fight the man, kind of, again, piracy, but with a more like honorable motive, I would say, like Robin Hood pirates.
Robin Hood space pirates.
Robin Hood space pirates. I like that. I like that
If we
idea.
called our ship Robin Hood.
I was gonna go like Little John or Will Scarlet, but I like Robin Hood just straight up too. So
We will get to, everybody keep these names in your head, because when we get to the naming the ship, we're gonna get there soon, and I want to keep those in mind, because those are all
the
very
Will
good
Scarlet
names.
because we're red belts. Okay, I'm sorry.
So yeah, so all of that kind of is your main motive, going to these places, undermining the corporate trading outposts, raiding on their ships, attacking them, things like that, but also getting into some of the more exploration, trying to like make a buck for yourself by finding outposts and finding like untapped ecosystems and asteroids and things like that would also be good, and lend into some more of the scientific exploration that I think we wanted to get into for Chance too. Okay. All right. So there's one other thing, and this gets into the ship stuff. So before we get into character creation, I want to talk about the ship thing first. So the mass driver's setting in this book has a detailed fairly granular, but I think could be fun ship creation like rule set, which starts on page 141 in the Fate Space Toolkit. And the idea is kind of you guys will get to create your ship based on like it creates these like modules from the ship. Again, it's a pretty big overview. You get to like pick what your ship has. That determines your ship's capabilities and what it's good at, and also like lends to more of like your ship taking damage and having to maintain it and stuff, which I will probably track for you. But like in conflicts and stuff, it adds a little more gravity to the situation of like pushing your ship to the limit and potentially having it be destroyed. And like it makes the ship a character, and it has the ship be like maintaining that and keeping it running is integral to your well-being.
Unless we don't have a module that simulates gravity on the ship, then the situation is sort of devoid of gravity.
Okay, so
I thought it was funny.
It's very funny.
That may have been the longest pause that I've ever heard Val not utter. That was great.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I worked really hard on that.
Where's the Space Toolkit?
It's in Roll in the Assets tray.
To determine the ship's thrust and impulse. They capitalize them too. We need like a ship's mechanic that's named Thrust. Like that's just Jesus. I'm done.
Did you find it, Sam? No. If you go to Roll, so you've got the Roll page up.
You need me to just come out there and help you.
Okay. Yeah, you're not in the Roll game, so you do need to get into the Roll game first.
Did you ever get the link to it?
Yeah, I'm in it. I was earlier,
Okay.
and then I went looking for the thing and destroyed everything.
There you go.
Okay.
So at the bottom, there's a bar across the bottom of your screen that says Assets. You need to click on that white bar.
Oh, okay.
And then there's a couple of like
okay.
images and stuff, and yeah, it's like the first one.
Okay, we're good. I'm just technologically impaired, apparently, today.
It's okay. So we will. I'm curious before we get into character creation, because we'll do this after character creation, is whether y'all are interested in doing this and using this rule set. Like your ship will have aspects. It will have like stats, you could say, that mostly function into like how fast it goes and how big it is.
Should go fast.
Like
Ship is thick.
It sort of informs the narrative a little bit when we get into space conflict, and can potentially lead to like, you know, having to take time to repair it and make rolls for that kind of thing.
I'm into it because I like these kind of rules, but also because I think it would be good for us to have some sort of like concrete knowledge of what ship have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're not constantly sitting around going, do ship have this?
It's
I'm
really
also-
like it comes. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say something. I'm also interested in the example cargo that it gives under the cargo module. It says you can have things such as a load of uranium or kegs of spicy fungus beer. And I want to have that.
I definitely
Spicy
want
fungus beer.
spicy fungus beer.
Kegs of spicy
That sounds
fungus
great.
beer. But yeah, I think it would be good to have at least some sort of like starting like basic chunk of, you know, ship has A, B, and C. So we know we can like rely on those things, and then
Well, yeah, because it'll tell you like exactly what your ship is capable of. It'll give y'all more ability to like build off of that. And it also turns your, like I said, it turns your ship into like a character, something that's important to you, and something that is like, again, you look at like Firefly, and Serenity is like as much a character as anyone else in the crew. And if we don't do this, if we don't have this rule, then the ship kind of functions as more of like a setting that gets you from point A to point B. And you don't really have much control over, but doesn't also really do anything for you. It just sort of exists. So, cool. Well, I'd like to do this then, but first I want to do our character creation stuff, and then keeping all that in mind, we will finish up with doing our ship creation at the very end. So, let's make our characters. Everyone should have their sheets in roll. And we're going to start at the beginning. So that's a very good
place to start.
One had to make that joke.
Of course.
Okay, so we're gonna start. I've got my book here. Make sure we're doing these in order. So we're gonna start by coming up with your characters. All of you already have your characters' names and descriptions, so we don't have to do that. Whether anything has changed with your character, you can make those tweaks. We can talk about those in a little while. But the two things that we're going to start with are coming up with your character's high concept and their trouble. There are spots for those under aspects on your sheets. Your high concept is... Can I give you an example here? Your high concept is a phrase that sums up what your character is about, what they do, what they are, and what they do, essentially. It's kind of the most important, like this is distilling your character down to their core self. The examples that it gives here is these are for all sorts of settings, so it's not necessarily specific to this one. Actually, there might be some ones for the space too. Let's see here. Okay, so the ones it gives in the book, I'll go with those first. Something like Wizard Private Eye, Singing Knight of the Round Table, Ambitious Low-Level Thug, Reluctant Lead Detective, things like that. So like sometimes they'll have an adjective, and it'll be something like an adjective and a description of your job. Is a pretty basic way to do things. You can mash like two jobs or roles together. You could also play off of important relationships to an organization or a person that you're deeply involved with. There are kind of lots of ways that you can come up with it. And some of the people that are kind of more versed in Fate, if you have any ideas, we could go through those first, if you would like.
I have mine.
Okay.
So I made Choke's mercenary with a conscience.
Okay.
Which I think kind of reverses the formula a little bit. But
yeah. No, I mean, I
I
think that works though.
Job, and then sort of an extra descriptor that sets her job apart and how she does it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that definitely works because it defines like what she does and gives a little bit more about who she is, which are kind of the things that you want to touch on with your high concept. I'll pick on Sam last because Sam's the only person that hasn't played. Unless Sam, you have an idea, but we'll. Morgan or Sid, do either of you have any ideas?
I have like a beginning of an idea. Like I have eccentric hacker, but I feel like it's missing something. Like it could work, but I feel like there needs to be another adjective there.
I'm thinking, because I agree. I think we could add more to it.
think what it's missing is probably the sort of eccentricity that Clarity has.
Yeah,
I don't know
which
what the word
hard
is
to
for
nail
it, but I
down.
feel like it's very specific.
Sleepy.
Um, I'm gonna look up Thesaurus.
Thesaurus! Future sponsor of the show.
I can't spell Thesaurus.
That's what dictionary.com's for.
Yeah. Let's see.
Thesaurus.com says whimsical,
I like whimsical.
which I think is fun.
Flaky.
Yeah, she is flaky.
Is she though?
She
I
comes
think
through when
flaky.
it
I think like
matters.
unreliable.
I think it's more like flighty
That's
Yeah.
yes.
than flaky.
Yes.
I do like flighty.
What about like capricious?
Better.
You could also do like we can add more to it. It says so if you like flighty, you can go like flighty hacker with something like you can add more onto it there.
You can follow the cipher formula, essentially.
Essentially, yeah. What else do you feel like is a core? So we know she's flighty. We know she's a hacker. Do you feel like there's something else that is core to Clarity's personality that should be included? Because I think flighty hacker gives you a lot.
Yeah.
But if you feel like there's something that's missing, but there's because you're also going to make additional aspects. This is not going to be your only aspect. This is only your
Yeah.
This is just your high concept.
Do you like the word eccentric?
Then go with eccentric hacker. Like again, that I think doing that gives you more room to like build off of.
Yeah, I think so too.
so- Also, none of these are set in stone. There will come points in
Yeah.
the campaign where y'all can add to or change your high
Cool.
concept. Sid, do you have one for impulse?
I was playing around with cunning negotiator fashionista.
I think that gives you a lot. I like that. Cunning negotiator fashionista or cunning fashionista negotiator?
I've literally been flipping those two back and forth for the past minute and a half.
What's the core? What is she above anything else? Fashionista or negotiator?
Negotiator.
I'd put that last then.
Cool.
Sam, you have any thoughts for Chance?
Kind of do, actually.
Okay.
What I've come up with is fragmented bumbling biologist.
I like that.
Because there's this whole aspect of him that we haven't touched on. It's that he can't really do what he's supposed to do right now because he lost his cyber gear. So, yep.
Yeah, I like that. And again, most of the best aspects that y'all create will both be something that you can pull on for benefits for yourself, because you'll be doing Vulcan aspect for a bonus to your rolls, or it's something that I can compel against you to your detriment, and you gain a fate point for that. Like you gain a benefit from it, but it's also like it should be a double-edged sword essentially. You don't want anything that's just like, I'm awesome, and that doesn't really give me anywhere to go. Or if it's just I suck, then it doesn't give you anything to work with. So. Okay, cool. So the second part is your trouble, since everybody has those. So in addition to your high concept, every character has some sort of trouble aspect that is part of their life and story. If your high concept is what or who your character is, your trouble is the answer to a simple question: what complicates your character's existence? And I feel like this part is probably the easiest to do because y'all have so much backstory for your characters at this point. So we can I imagine if anything, it's going to be choosing which thing you consider to be your main trouble. So there are two types that it recommends. That kind of the game breaks it down into is personal struggles and problematic relationships. Personal struggles are about your darker side or impulses that are hard to control. Keeps dropping.
Can I make my trouble impulse?
You could all do that.
Everyone's trouble is impulse in some capacity.
But that would go under problematic relationships, which are about people or organizations that make your life hard. So one of those two, usually they'll fall into one of those two things, and kind of thinking about those two categories might help you come up with something. So the examples it gives here for like personal struggles is like something like anger management issues, sucker for a pretty face, or the bottle calls to me. For problematic relationships, it is something like family man, debt to the mob, and the scar triad wants me dead.
I don't think I'm gonna
laughing.
I don't think I'm gonna go with this because it's very specific. But what if I made mine 2 girlfriends, 1 spaceship?
Amazing. Amazing. Yes.
I love that. I love that so much.
And we could really lean into what the fuck's going on with Swin and Yule at this point, because I don't think we talked about it, we are doing a 6-month time jump from where we left off last time, so a lot's happened.
I'm trying to figure out like how, if that really has legs or not.
I could give it legs.
So much that could run with that.
I'm doing it.
Oh my
I could
God.
give that legs.
So
I could
doing.
make your life very hard.
4 legs
With
even. For each
6 if you
girlfriend.
count your own. Yeah.
Okay, that's mine.
Okay.
Amazing.
Also, all these are better if you come up with puns.
A problem
too.
I've created for myself.
If you can turn an aspect into a pun, kudos to you, because a lot of people like doing that for these.
I love doing that.
So. Who else has one?
Now I feel very pressured to think of a pun.
You don't have to. It's not a requirement.
I
It's just
feel
something
pressure.
that a lot of people do, or try to do, to varying degrees of success. But don't force it if it's not organic to your situation. I'm gonna start calling on people if people don't volunteer.
You're right. It's sorting through like which problem is the most problem of the problems.
Okay. What are you considering?
The words lascivious and like lecherous came to mind. But also her temper and her penchant for pretty things. So there's a lot of those in there.
I think, well, I guess the question is, because do you think anything's changed with Impulse over these 6 months? Like, still out there flirting with everyone, or like, do you, because that gets into your problems potentially with Alco too, because you have Alco there, and like, what does your relationship look like? You know, are they exclusive? How serious are they? Is Impulse still like getting into trouble at space bars?
Can we make this game a dating sim?
dating?
I was actually gonna say, if you use a word like lustful, then you can sort of combine a couple of your problems, because you can be lustful for other people. You can also be lustful for shiny things and stuff. So that combines a couple of them.
That's a good one. That's
What
a good
is?
one.
I forget what my character on Sundays is. It's like dark lust or something like that.
Unnatural lust.
Unnatural lust is.
Oh, you read my Twilight fanfic.
No, Alcon knows who he's
Big
dating.
Appetites is another one.
Big appetites.
Because that's money and sex and power
Just put
and
thirsty.
thirsty AF.
Something about like some sort of play off of like champagne tastes on a beer budget, like. I'll think about it.
Okay. But I like the direction you're going in. Yeah. Morgan or Sam, any thoughts?
Trying to think of what big pressing problems Clarity has, which I know she has a lot, but pinpointing them is proving difficult to me.
Or if you need a minute, I actually have something.
Okay.
I think Chance's big problem is that he's never been friends with this many people for this long. Not because he's like bad at making friends, just not something he's experienced with. So his trouble is called friends in low places.
Because I love
Good.
that. He's trying to figure out how to like be part of a society. He's somebody who's worked in his like a lab his entire life, and you don't really have to talk to people doing that. And so now he's like in a enclosed space with, I don't know, a bunch of people.
I like it. Yeah. Just social anxiety.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot.
Space cadet. I'm trying to think of something to go with space cadet.
So what are you seeing, like, without, not the term, but like, what are you seeing her trouble as?
She gets so into her own world that she like doesn't realize more pressing issues sometimes.
Spacing out?
Yeah.
Or just spacey?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think that works. Like her and like that goes on to like very like immediate troubles of like always spacing out or something like that. Like, and also just in general of like her flightiness and everything. So, yeah, I'd go with either spacing out or like always spacing out or something like that.
Yeah.
Your trouble.
Earth to clarity.
Earth to clarity.
Basically. Yeah, I like that one.
Awesome. Okay, so I think everybody's got some, even though we might be playing with the language of it a little bit.
I
but
made a really stupid Aladdin reference. Are you ready?
Okay, yeah, I'm ready.
Unlimited cosmic appetites, itty bitty living space.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's very good. Make it as long as you want. Well, as long as you can
The
have it
E
on
on
your sheet.
space is covered up, but otherwise it fits.
Perfect. Okay, so we've done that. You have your names. Now we're going to do the phase trio. This is the funnest part. So everybody took some time to think about the first aspect of this. So what the phase trio essentially is you describe your character's first adventure. For our purposes, because we have already been playing these characters for a while, essentially we are doing the something important that happened to them after leaving New London, but before we're picking up. That is what we're defining as their first adventure. You describe how you crossed paths with the other two characters. We're not really doing the cross paths thing, but it's really how they got involved. So what each of you are doing separately is you're writing a summary of what happened in the first phase here. So you're going to write a couple sentences of some sort of scenario, problem, adventure that you got caught up in, that your character was the star of. This sort of breaks down into something bad happened. What did you decide to do about it? And who was the main antagonist here? What was going on? What was the problem? So all of you are gonna write that or have written that in just one or two sentences, and then we're all gonna pass those to the person on our left. I'm gonna figure out what the order is gonna be in just 1 second. I think what we're gonna do is I'm going to have, I'm gonna do it this way. Sid's goes to Savannah. Savannah, yours is gonna go to Sam. Sam, yours will go to Morgan, and Morgan, yours will go to Sid. Because that's sort of the circle I've got you on the screen. So,
Do you want us to send it to them directly?
yeah. So send it to them directly, and but also I want each of you. I want to have each of you written. You're go ahead and send it to them, and one at a time, while the other people are kind of reading over them. I want everybody to tell me what they wrote for theirs. So, Sid, if you could tell me what you wrote for impulses as the starting point.
Okay. By the 4th month on the ship, Impulse got so stir crazy that she ventured out by herself at a shady refueling station. She ended up at Blaster Point in the middle of a robbery, trying to fast talk the thieves when all she wanted to do was buy some decent booze.
So what Sid is going to do is send that to Savannah, and what Savannah is going to do, and all of you are going to do when you get yours from your when we sent it to you, is you are going to add to this adventure. You're going to write another sentence or two at the most of kind of your supporting role in this. The examples are kind of the types of ways that you can get involved. The book recommends is either you complicated the adventure, you managed to make some part of it uncertain, you managed to make it worse, you complicated the situation somehow, or you solved an aspect of the situation. You somehow fixed a problem that was occurring. You probably didn't do fix the whole thing because this is something that kind of stars the main character, and there's somebody else that has to get involved too. So don't write I killed all the bad guys and saved the day or something. Would make things probably that would not be as helpful to the situation. Or the third way is you complicate and solving. So maybe you did beat up the person, the people, but the big boss or the gang leader, something made it showed up and ended up making things worse because now you owe them more money or something like that. However you want to do it, you're going to add to that. Let's see. Was double checking something here. I forgot to add this too. For each thing that you're writing, including your first one, you're going. So for your first, however you set up your story for your adventure, and then for each time you are writing something interacting with somebody else's adventure, you are gaining an aspect from that. So for like the one that Impulse wrote, Impulse would gain an aspect from that scenario. So you'd summarize what happened, kind of how Impulse was involved here, what was going on, into some sort of aspect for her personality. And all of you will do that too. And then Savannah, in however Choke gets involved, is going to gain an aspect from that as well.
I'm sure the answer will shock and surprise everyone.
Yeah, everyone. So we're going to step away from Impulse for a second. I want to do our... how do I want to do this? Impulse, do you have an aspect that you had in mind for your first one?
I was playing with "This is why we must have nice things."
Okay. I like that. So we're going to step away from Impulse for a second. Choke. So you're giving yours to
Sam.
To Chance. To Sam. What did you write for yours?
I wrote a story about Choke being a dumbass. Choke discovered another traveling mercenary ship, a large established one that had taken to hailing other ships it came near and, out of boredom, setting up good old-fashioned pit fights in its cargo bay. She insisted on accepting their invitation, but discovered too late that it was a trap so the other crew could take them out and raid their ship for goods, and it turned into a knockdown, drag-out brawl.
Cool. Do you have a aspect for that?
I was gonna do itching for a fight.
I like it.
Because I think Choke probably gets bored in space.
Probably.
Among other things.
Has everyone written their response, their how they got involved yet? Okay.
Working on.
Okay, I was just making sure. I'm gonna pick on somebody else.
I don't have one yet.
Oh, did everybody not send theirs?
No, I haven't sent mine. Hold on.
Yeah, Morgan, go ahead and send yours to Sid.
I've been working on it. Hold on.
This is easier around a table because what you do is you have like cards and you're adding to them and then like sliding them to the next person, so it's a little bit easier. It's a little bit clunkier online. So everyone out there watching, just bear with us. All right, Sid, do you have yours yet?
I do.
All right. Well, while all of you are finishing up writing your how you got involved with the other person's adventure, or your first crossing paths. Actually, before I'm debating whether I'm gonna continue to have people read it, but I'm also realizing it might be better just to hear the whole story at once rather than hearing it piece by piece. So, for the sake of having dead space, I will, again, I keep making space puns. We'll let y'all finish and then we'll pass them one more time.
With this music, one of these stories better be, and then they kissed.
That's the idea. Once you are done writing your crossing paths, you're going to pass them one more time. So the story you have just received with your response tacked onto the bottom of it, you're going to pass that over to the next person in line. So whoever you passed your last one to. So once again, Sid will send what Morgan sent her with her response to Savannah. Savannah will send her whole list to Sam. Sam will send his to Morgan. Morgan will send hers to Sid. So once you've finished writing it, go ahead and pass it one more time. And I'm going to go grab my water because we just got a water break in.
Oh.
Who am I sending to?
You sent to me again, Sid.
All right.
I'm muted. Where we at? Anyone done? Okay, so Savannah, you have Morgan's adventure that Sid added to, and then you added your part onto.
No,
No,
not
I
yet.
haven't sent
I was
Savannah
saying I
mine
was
yet.
done with the second phase.
Oh, with the second phase. Sorry. Okay, I thought we were. I didn't know if you meant you were done with the third phase.
No.
I didn't do well in the essay portions of tasks. I'm sorry. Just give me a
It's
second.
okay. So Savannah, if you finish your second phase, you can go ahead and send that whole
I
thing
sent mine
to
to
Sam.
Sam.
Okay. I guess whoever finishes the third phase, when you're done with that, raise your hand.
His wrote so much.
2 sentences.
Oh, God.
Beyond two. Or we just do long sentences.
I wrote 2 sentences.
These are very long sentences.
I can't count.
That's fine. This is mostly just to keep Morgan from writing 10 pages.
Oh, I'm being very lazy about this. Not in a bad way, but in a I don't feel like writing a ton.
Sending all of yours in emojis.
Yes.
Is anyone not gotten theirs for the third phase yet? Okay, so everyone is working on their third phase. Cool. How's it going out there, chat? Well, they're all doing their homework. Let's just talk. How are you? How was your week? TV Grant, back and tipsy. Welcome back. Love you too, Perkabeth. I think it's been a week for a lot of us. Feels like 2.
So if I'm done with that one, I send it to Sid again.
So you have Savannah's original story
Mm-hmm.
with Sam's addition and yours. So you're going to send it back to Savannah.
Okay.
So Savannah, when you're done writing yours, we could go ahead and go over yours. Or, well, let's just wait for everyone. We'll just wait for everyone to finish. My week was busy. A lot going on. Work never ends. Did, however, snag an Xbox Series S today. So we were also very excited about that. I've been trying to get one for retail price for like 2 weeks now. Or longer, actually. Going on like every day. Yeah, I saw, Wally, that your PS5 got here. That's so awesome. I think ours should be here by like next Friday. I'm very excited because we're still playing on our old Xbox One, like first generation Xbox One, like when it, like week it came
Got
out.
that bad boy like the first week Xbox Ones came out.
Yeah, it's chugging. Yes, I would gladly play play DBD. I haven't played it
Okay.
on console.
Just to clarify, are we solving the situation in the third part?
No, not necessarily solving it. You're just, again, either complicating or contributing to it in some way. The kind of resolution is more up to the person who originally wrote it, and kind of when it comes back around, it's not going to be part of the trio, but when you get your full story, whoever originally came up with the adventure is free to kind of like tack on an ending, but that's totally up to y'all.
Got it. And we send it directly back to the person who started it.
Who originated it? Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, Wally, I saw that you also got the disk drive version too. By accident. Which is awesome. I'll keep my fingers crossed that maybe they'll accidentally send us, though there's absolutely no chance that we will. Like the like full version of the disk drive version of the Xbox, like it's like $1,000 anywhere I can find online.
Yeah,
They're
you just can't
absolutely
get
not
'em.
available. Yeah.
Guys, we've written a great story here.
I'm very excited to hear these. Anyone still working? I see Sid's mouth moving. I don't know if...
I have no idea how to end this story.
You're working on Sam's or Chance's?
Yes.
And it doesn't necessarily need to be an end. It just has to be how Impulse got involved.
Enjoy.
Satisfied?
That, Sam.
Okay, so let's go through these, and what we're gonna do is we're going to read one, and we're gonna point out who's added to it. I'm just gonna have whoever has the full version, so like Savannah will read Choke's full thing, point out who added to it, and we'll also make sure we have the aspects. I'm very excited to see whatever came from Sam's. But let's start because we've heard the first part of Sid's and Savannah. So let's start with Sid's.
Showa.
So read your
All right.
first part again, and then
Okie dokie.
To the kissing music backdrop.
Yes, to the kissing music. By the 4th month on the ship, Impulse got so stir crazy that she ventured out by herself at a shady refueling station. She ended up at Blaster Point in the middle of a robbery, trying to fast talk the thieves when all she wanted to do was buy some decent booze. Choke, refusing to let Impulse really go alone, had tailed her to the station. When it seemed to her that the fast talking wasn't working fast enough, she intervened, pulling a bigger blaster and adding threats to Impulse's persuasion, escalating the situation. Not having tagged on purpose, Chance had also happened to venture out along, more to get away from the large group of people he'd become so close with. Seeing the situation, Chance wandered onto the scene carrying a combo meal from Space McBlasters, a chain burger joint that had popped up in the colonies, and attempted to solve the situation by sharing his fries.
I like Impulse gets in the middle of a robbery. Choke pulls guns on robbers. Chance is accidentally
My
here.
Oh, you want
Oh
my
my
fries?
god.
That's exactly
So-
right.
Impulse, what aspect did you take for your actions there?
For mine was, this is why we must have nice things.
Okay.
Because if we
Choke,
just had good booze on the ship, she wouldn't have gone out in the first place.
Choke, what aspect did you take for your addition there?
I'm working on the wording
Okay, what are you thinking?
right now. Because I want something like impatient, but that's not the word that I want to use.
Okay.
Music just got loud in my ears.
We can come back to that as well. Sam, did you have an idea for...
Yeah.
Okay.
The aspect is long. It just says, well-meaning, but probably not too socially bright.
I like it. Okay. Let's see. So let's do... Savannah, are you in a good place to read off yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pull it up there. Okay. I like this story. So, Choke discovered another traveling mercenary ship, a large established one that had taken to hailing other ships when it came near and out of boredom, setting up good old-fashioned pit fights in its cargo bay. She insisted on accepting their invitation, but discovered too late that it was a trap so that the other crew could take them out and raid their ship for goods, and it turned into a knockdown, drag-out brawl. Chance, who volunteered to be part of the pit fights as a medic, and even participated once or twice, more so as a rodeo clown than anything, ended up making things somewhat worse by trying to fight alongside Choke. Being quite strong, but not the most seasoned fighter, he ended up breaking a fair amount of the goods that the raiders had attempted to steal in the first place, but in doing so, also managed to knock out several of the raiders. And Clarity, concerned at the fighting and not sure how to help, managed to hack the lighting system, with Alfredo biting at the ankles of the mercenaries so they could make their grand escape. And Morgan has done me the great service of putting the grand and grand escape in quotes, which I think is right.
Yeah.
I like it. So, Sam, do you have an idea for your aspect from that?
2 left feet, but 1 big fist.
That is so
Oh, boy.
good.
That is good. Morgan?
All I could think of was expert avoider, just trying to avoid the fight.
Yeah. I like it. These are good. Okay. Let's do...
Did I say my initial
do-
aspect for that?
You started to before, but I don't think you had finished it.
For mine, it was itching for a fight.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Chance, what is your story?
I don't think I got it back.
Oh, who... Sid, did you send yours back?
Yeah, I sent it to Smackaroni.
Oh, I can't read. Hold on.
Oh.
It's right here. I see it. Okay. During a pit stop at an Earth base, Chance crosses paths with the woman who was previously his boss at Biosite. One of the few people who can pique his temper, she chided him for losing his job and talked about how good the merger with Lunatech was. Passionate about his previous study he was working on, Chance actually tried to punch her and failed because he tripped over something and fell down. Clarity, annoyed at this lady, hacked into Chance's ex-boss's cyberware, causing it to go haywire, and Impulse, unaware of Clarity's handiwork, took the woman's movements as an invitation to dance. She took her toward the dance floor, bought her lots of drinks, hooked up with her, and never called her back.
That took such a wild turn at the end.
I didn't know what to do, so I did the only thing Impulse is good at.
So, Chance, I think this is your third and final aspect for this. What aspect are you thinking for your start to this story?
I'm going to have to work on the wording of it, but it's like a short fuse in specific situations kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah. And again, we can none of these. If y'all want to like tweak the wording of these aspects over the next week, you can do that too. So nothing has to be set in stone. But yeah, keeping them kind of as concise as possible, and but also getting across the point that you want. Whatever works, as long as they're not like a paragraph. Morgan, what is your so for your edition, what aspect are you thinking?
Hack your brains.
Hack your brains. Okay. And Savannah, or no, Sid.
I wasn't in
Sid,
that
you were the
story.
third.
I was like, wait.
You weren't in that story.
I wasn't in that one.
Sorry, Sid.
I thought of screw me, but don't you dare screw my friends.
Okay. Okay.
Did you like how I used the word screw in two different ways?
I
Yes.
did.
Oh, okay.
Yes. You have very highbrow humor here.
Always.
Okay. And the last story that we've got,
Yep.
Clarity's.
The gang decided to raid a Lunatech ship for supplies. Clarity insisted on bringing Alfredo along, and then accidentally tread on his tail during the mission, causing the alien cat to screech and give away their position. Impulse attempted to catch and cradle the alien kitty, getting completely scratched up, but managing to quiet the creature and hide in an alcove. Choke, refusing to let the raid go to waste, encouraged the others to hide or continue hiding, and busted through the final door into the space where the supplies are kept. She scooped up a few armfuls of goods, dumped some of them onto her friends, and provided covering fire as they made a break for it.
Okay. So, what is Clarity's aspect she's getting from that?
Kitty love.
Kitty love?
Yeah, because she loves Alfredo.
Okay. Sid?
I have absolutely no idea. Please come back to me.
Okay. Savannah?
I'm calling mine bull in a china shop.
Okay. I like it.
I also came up with one for the other story.
Oh, what
Sid's story.
did you come up with?
Quick temper, quicker trigger finger.
Okay. Sid, if you want to take some time to think about yours, you can. And we can go ahead and move on with this, because everybody has what yours. Will everyone send me their story with the other people's editions on Discord? So I can save them for future shenanigans. And the last real thing that we have to do here is come up with your skill trees. So, let me remind myself how this works. Okay, second to last, because then we have to do stunts. All right. So, in the assets tray on roll, I have our unique, custom, one-of-a-kind skill list for this game. I will show the party, so everyone should be able to see it.
Did you
This
turn
is
that
a
off
list.
private? Because I don't have access to it.
Oh, is this on? Oh. Make public. Yes.
Thank you.
Can everybody see it though? Now that I made it public, or now that I put it up. Okay, so on roll, you can see we have the list of the skills that are available in for our game here. I have added to it, replacing some and kind of bifurcating some others. Most notably, I have added bioscience, culture, hack, pilot, planetary survival, ride, technoscience, and weapons are some of our new ones here. Mostly to make this fit a space setting. The one that the ones that I'll point out here. Initially, drive was the only one that was available. I've divided drive into drive, ride, and pilot. Pilot is for spaceships. Drive is for like vehicles, and ride is for like organic creatures like horses and stuff like that, if that ever comes up. Because who knows, it might. So what everyone will do, you have on your sheet here the skills section. They go from superb, that is a +5, and down to average, which is a +1. So for those of you that have not played Fate before, whenever you are rolling in Fate and a skill, you're applying a skill to it, you'll roll 4 Fate dice. Whatever the modifier you get from that is, you add up the pluses, subtract the minuses. That's the number you get, and then you add your modifier from your skill to that, and that gives you your result. What you will do is you will pick 4 skills that will be an average, which will be a +1. You will have 3 skills that are the +2 or fair. You'll have 2 skills that are good, or the +3, and you'll have 1 skill that is great, which is +4. So your great skill should probably be whatever you are the best at, whatever you want your character to emphasize, and kind of go down from there. I will point out a couple of important things here. You can look at this chart and you can see there, out of all of these skills, all of them can be used to overcome an obstacle or to create an advantage. Only some skills can be used to attack, and that's based on the situation that you are set up with. The one that will always, like the default for attacking, is fight or weapons if you have a like a gun or some sort of weapon to use. And then provoke and hack can be used depending on the situation to like attack. Provoke is used in like social situations. And I added hack to the list to attack using like technology to like disrupt some sort of piece of technology or something. There are about half the skills can be used to defend, and again, those are situational. For the most part, you will be defending using either like fight or athletics to like avoid the strike, or like physique to endure it. But depending on the situation, you might be able to use some of the others. It's just important to know in the context of you know what you're going to be doing, like if you get into a conflict situation. The other two that are kind of unique are will and physique. The higher, if your physique and will, let me make sure I've got the right here. The higher those are, the more stress boxes you have, which is like your HP. So there's 2 different types of stress boxes. There's physical stress, which is a kind of a signifier of how much physical damage you can take, and mental stress, which is how much mental damage you can take. If your physique or will are at +1 or +2, let's see, you get 1 more stress box in the respective type. If they are at +3 or higher, you get 2 stress boxes, 2 additional stress boxes. So If you're wanting your character to be a little bit more resistant to like mental influences or physical attacks, then you want to increase either your physique or your will, respectively.
Is there a way to increase that on these sheets?
So what I'm going to have everyone do is if your physique or will are not high enough, you're going to keep your third and fourth boxes checked permanently. So you can see the boxes here. You have your first stress box. You have your 1 stress box, your 2 stress box, your 3 stress box, and your 4 stress box. So if you don't have any points in physique or will, or if you don't have those skills trained, then you're going to check off your 3rd and your 4th stress box, and those will not be available to you until you increase your physique or your will.
Just to clarify, empathy would be like almost like insight, I guess, like connecting with people and reading them, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Rapport would be like getting chummy with people and getting along with them.
Yeah, that's about rapport is about making positive connections to people and eliciting positive emotion. So that is like your persuasion.
Got it.
Yeah, and empathy is like your
reading people.
Yeah, being able to read somebody's mood or bearing. And just let me know when if somebody has picked all of theirs. Just let me know, and I will.
Can you explain? It seems pretty straightforward, but can we talk about planetary survival real quick?
Yes. So planetary survival is again a new skill that we've added. That is going to be your kind of your knowledge of planetary environments and your ability to survive in those sort of hostile conditions. And that will kind of bridge the gap from anywhere between roughing it in the wilderness of Earth up to surviving the barren deserts of Mars, to navigating cave systems on an asteroid.
Cool. What is notice?
Notice is your ability to sort of pick out things in your environment, to notice things. It's kind of like it basically is as the book describes it, it represents your character's overall perception, ability to pick out details at a glance, and other powers of observation. Whereas like investigate is like the counterpart of that. Investigate is the skill used to find things out. It's like concentrated effort and in-depth scrutiny into like a specific object or location or something.
Mm-hmm.
Notice is like, do I see it? Investigate is, what do I see here?
I'm done.
Okay. Let's go over yours then, Savannah. What you picked.
Just list them off.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So for my great skill, I took fight. Seemed appropriate. For my 2 good skills, I did weapons and physique. So I get all those good boxes.
Yeah, I'll interrupt for just one to distinguish between weapons and fight too for everyone, because I think Savannah probably picked up on it, but just in case it wasn't clear.
Yes.
Fight is like unarmed combat. That's like your ability to just like scrape with somebody. Weapons is your ability to like use a weapon, like anything from a blaster pistol to a laser sword. Continue.
Yeah. My fair skills, I took drive, athletics, and provoke. And then for my 4 average skills, I took Will, Planetary Survival, Notice, and Pilot. And I'm justifying taking Pilot as was very good at driving, has probably had enough time to figure out basics of piloting.
Okay.
But it's not, so I put that on average.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you will have all 4 stress boxes for physique, and then 3 of your stress boxes available for mental stress. Yeah, physical stress, mental stress.
I'm done.
Oh,
Me too.
I saw Sid's hand first. Let's do Sid's.
Okay. For great, took rapport, good, deceive, and empathy, fair, stealth, provoke, and investigate, and average, notice, contacts. I took culture.
Mhm.
I'm going to assume this is as like literally everywhere they go, Impulse is at least looking at what everyone's wearing. So at the very
Yeah.
least, being very aware of that fact.
So culture replaced lore in
Perfect.
so this is like your knowledge of other cultures, which could go from everything from like fashion to politics to history and that sort of stuff.
Which makes sense for her, for sure.
Yeah.
And then I took an average in weapons too.
Okay. Good to have something that you can
Actually
hurt
fight
somebody
with? Yes.
Yeah. So you won't have any additional stress boxes. Okay. Cool.
Nope.
Clarity?
Okay. So for my great, I took hack. For my good, I took stealth and technoscience.
Okay.
Because I figured that's different from hack.
Yes, Technoscience is another lore-based one. So this will be like your knowledge of machines. It replaced, so it kind of bridges the gap. It replaced crafts. Bioscience and Technoscience replaced crafts and then added to lore. So you could use it for like your knowledge of technology, but also to create devices and stuff.
My fair ones are notice, will, and empathy.
Okay.
My average ones are pilot, deceive, investigate, and athletics.
Okay. So is that 2 of you with piloting now?
Yeah. Yes.
Cool.
Between the 2 of us, we make 1 pretty good pilot.
Yeah.
You're both average pilots, and together you can be a fair pilot. Sam, when you're done being attacked, what did you?
Okay. Ow. My great skill is bioscience, shocker. My good skills are investigate and planetary survival. My fair are notice, physique, and will. And my average are empathy, provoke, fight, and resources.
Okay. So you'll have 1 additional stress box in both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I'm loving the realness of one of us being at stealth.
Yeah.
I took fair and stealth too.
Doing okay. It's
Yeah, I think, Morgan took a good in stealth, and
Impulse took fair.
okay.
took fair.
Less like sneaking, more like
pretty
blending
real.
in.
Pirates don't need to be stealthy, they just need to be steely.
Exactly. So the last bit are the so refresh and stunts. So I'm going to explain this really quickly, and then I'm going to ask y'all what you would prefer to do next, because we're kind of running low on time, and don't know if y'all I assume we don't want to go late. Pulling up stunts and refresh. Okay. So double checking how this works here. All right. So everyone will have a pause my music with touching my earbud. Everyone will have a refresh of 3. That's at the top of your sheet. There's a section under your name that says refresh. You can put the 3 there, and your maximum pool will start at 3. And then everybody gets to start the game with stunts. Stunts are sort of like your abilities that are tied to a specific skill. It's going to probably take y'all some time to go through those, so I don't think we'll really get the chance to do all this today. This might be something that I ask y'all to do as homework before the next session. If you go into the core rulebook, there's the skills and stunts chapter.
I have
That
the page
starts on
number if you're looking for it.
Go for it, yeah.
So it's under the skill list. It's PDF 106. So it lists off every stunt has a every skill has a dedicated page, and then there's like a list of these stunts that go along with that skill at the end of every page.
Yeah. And then, so those are the basic stunts, the pre-made ones. There's also a list of stunts in the space book, starting on page 35, which are tied to the existing ones as well as some of the space specific ones as well. So you can pick some from the space book if you want. You can pick some from the core book if you want. There are some since some of the skills I just made up, it means that we don't have stunts that are available for those. Like for hack, for example, there's not going to be a stunt associated with that. If you want a stunt for an ability that you have, for a skill that you have that there isn't one available, we can make one. The game actually, the core rulebook gives examples of how you can create new stunts. So if you are interested in building a new stunt for a skill, message me. We can talk about it, kind of figure out what you want to be able to do and figure out how we would balance that. Everyone can pick 3. You can have more than 3 by sacrificing some of your refresh. So your refresh is at 3 points right now. You can drop it down to 2 or down to 1 to gain 1 or 2 additional stunts. To explain what refresh is, that's how many fate points you get at the beginning of every session. And fate points are kind of how the system works. That's how you like invoke an aspect for a bonus or re-roll a die. It's your ability to kind of like overcome odds or the like insurmountable odds. So you can sacrifice some of that for additional capabilities, additional stunts, but you'll be losing out on some of your rerolls and stuff. Does anyone have questions on any of that? Like I said, I don't think we have enough time to sit down and go through all of it because I want to do the spaceship stuff before we go. So does anyone have any stunt-based questions?
I just have a favor to ask about the sheets.
Sure.
Can you make the stunts where we can duplicate the fields?
Oh, can you not?
No.
Yes, I can.
Thanks.
Yeah, I can
It's not important right now. Just wanted to say it out loud.
Yeah, I'll do that later, and then next time you come into the game, you'll just have to update your character sheets, and then you can divide those. But so between now and next Friday, if everyone can pick their stunts and add them to their sheet, and if you want me to help you make a new stunt, like for example, I think the 2 that come to mind are hack and bioscience. I don't have anything for, so if you want to come up with something, I would recommend looking. Page 88 of the book is where like the building stunt section. It's a couple of pages long and kind of explains like how you build a stunt and like what you're looking at, kind of some examples. Look at the examples in the book, get an idea what they do, and then we can talk about what it is you want and create it. Does that sound good? Okay.
You're...
Then the last thing I want to do is Spaceship.
Oh, wait, can I ask a question? before we do spaceship?
Yes.
Could I take a shoot stunt for weapons?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, if you see any in the book for stunts for skills that no longer exist that seem applicable to a skill that we have made up, just ask me and we can add that too, because there are some like that, like crafts and lore and things like that. We can make that work. Okay. Y'all want to make your ship?
Spaceship.
Everyone looks super focused on the rulebook right now. All right.
Got
let's
excited
do
about
that.
stunts.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. We can wait and we can do our spaceship at the beginning of the next session if you'd rather do that, and y'all can focus on stunts now.
No. We'll
That's
do our
fine.
homework. It's okay.
Okay. Let's do that real quick. Let's change the music so it's less put me to sleep. All right. First, we have to decide how you're going to run things on your ship. 3 options. Traditional naval hierarchy. The captain is in charge. In space, their word is law. Second, democracy. You talk about things, you vote, and everyone agrees to go along with the majority decision. Third, technocratic anarchy. You each know what you're doing in your own area of expertise, and so you do things and let everyone else do theirs.
I mean, that's kind of how we already worked.
Not quite. I mean, we agreed on things and
I was saying
talked
y'all-
about
We needed to.
things and
Y'all fluctuated between technocratic anarchy and democracy pretty,
Yeah,
pretty wildly.
a lot of us did things on our own sometimes.
Or
Well,
tried to,
yeah.
and then got found out multiple times.
yeah.
Do we want to solidify one of those?
I feel like we aspire to democracy, but probably like vacillate between the two.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just go
That
and put
seem
down
fair?
technocratic anarchy.
Yeah.
The thing with technocratic anarchy is that you can
You can have democratic aspects.
you can
to
still
it,
have
yeah.
some democracy there. It's just maybe not everyone's gonna always go along with that. You have to deal with the consequences. All right, so a couple of questions. What is the 1 or 2 word phrase that outsiders would use to describe your ship?
Technocratic
crew-
anarchy.
What did the crew do to earn that reputation?
Oh, damn.
Technocratic anarchy.
It works in so many ways. Ugh.
It's crazy.
What do y'all think? What does your ship look like?
That outsiders would describe it as definitely stolen.
Amazing.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
Yes.
That's so, like barely scratched off. Like,
Yeah. Like it had a different
Gals.
name on it, and you can see that we looked like painted or something.
So I'm saying, like, clearly used to belong to a corporation or something, and like the
Mm-hmm.
name has been scratched off, and it's like parts have been like welded on and stuff.
yes.
Okay,
Not even trying to hide it.
I think we know what the crew did to earn that reputation, so I don't think I need to ask.
We stole it.
They may have stolen a ship.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Which asteroid habitat greets the arrival of the ship with one split? So essentially, with this is like, is there a place that y'all are like welcome? Do you have a place in mind that, or like a concept? We don't have to come up with like a name or something for it, but do you have a concept for like, a place where you are actually allowed to be.
I mean, I have a question. It's
Yeah.
it's more of an idea. You wanted 2 words. I'll give you 2 words. Space Tortuga.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
welcome
gotta
to
be
Space
one,
Tortuga.
right?
Yep, there is
There's gotta
now.
be like an asteroid where there's like Pirate Town.
Space Pirate Town. All right, it's there. Nobody vetoed it.
No, everyone just kind of looked at me like,
Why
well,
would we?
like normal,
regards
everybody
the
just kind of went, okay.
Who regards the ship or someone on it unfavorably? Why?
I got a list.
Who's at the top of that list?
Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Mortimer Rat.
Mortimer Rat.
It's gonna be Steamboat Mickey that is out here like in space, like sailing around.
Is that the name of his ship?
His ship looks like a big steamboat.
Oh no!
I love
It
it.
just whistles the tune everywhere. all everywhere.
Whistles the tune of terror into people's hearts.
But it plays the tune, but it's in a minor key.
Mhm.
I like it. I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna compose that. Does someone else say they have claim on the ship or the crew's loyalty? And are they right?
On the ship? Yes. Yeah. How? We've previously established this, I think.
But nobody, I can't think of anybody that necessarily would say that they like are owed your loyalty.
Owed our loyalty.
Loyalty? No. Heads? Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I feel like... Why do I feel like... I don't know. You guys can tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like the ship is like bright orange or some shit. Like we stole a ship because we needed a ship, but it's like the most obnoxious, like easily identifiable piece of
The
car-
other
And then,
two
like,
words that I was
Neon green.
Yeah.
the other 2 words that I was gonna use if that didn't go over was fucking ugly. So
What if it's just like
So-
big, bright piece of shit and everybody
going-
immediately
Definitely
is like,
stolen.
hey, you're
Fucking
not,
fucking ugly.
you stole that.
So bright orange and neon green highlights.
Bright
Oh.
orange with neon green flames.
So flames painted on it.
Oh my
So
God.
like y'all
No,
tried
they're
to cover
stickers.
up. Made
They're
it,
just-
Yeah. Yeah, we
You can-
100% put the neon,
The neon
green
green
fucking
sticker
flames
flames.
stickers on it,
I love it.
thinking it would improve the exterior in some
Uh-huh.
way.
And there's a bumper sticker on the back that says, my other ride is a steamboat.
I'm adding that. I'm adding
No
all of
one's
this.
telling me no.
Okay. So here's what we do now is we go around the table. Everyone suggests an aspect for the ship. One has to be the high concept, one has to be the trouble. For the ship specifically. So like the trouble and the high concept should relate to how it like performs, what it looks like, things like that. So I'll do this on a voluntary basis. Does anyone have a high concept in mind
For the ship?
for the ship?
Savannah looks like she's got a gremlin situation over there.
Plotting.
You're thinking.
Plotting.
I'm thinking.
Definitely stolen can also definitely be one of these if we just want to make that the trouble.
I mean, it is a good trouble.
It's in pretty good trouble.
Because no one will believe that we got that ship legitimately ever.
I'm gonna put that down as the trouble unless somebody comes up with something else.
No,
So,
I think that's good.
It was pretty damn
Okay.
good.
anyone have a high concept in mind?
Old reliable.
Aw, yeah. She's a slow girl, but she reliable.
So we say the ship is old then? Like this is an outdated ship?
A refurbished ship.
But it's very reliable. It'll get us out of scrapes and stuff.
The thing about when people call something old reliable is that they're usually not actually very reliable.
Yes, they are. What are you talking about?
Okay. Can the ship be like, so like, maybe the reason it's outdated is it's like very, very old, like Chevys. It's like that car is slow, it's extremely outdated, but I mean, if you get in an accident, that Chevy's gonna be fucking just fine, whereas whatever like new car that made the mistake of running into it is gonna be in pieces. Like something along those lines.
Well, the problem you run into with those old cars is that the car is fine. You're not. You're super not. You see what happens to people when those things wreck?
So the ship, if we crashed it, would be great.
Yeah, ship's gonna be great. We, on the other hand.
Stuff like the steering wheel falls off, but you can pop it right back on.
Are you guys thinking this is more of like a freighter or like an old like military vessel? Where do
I
we
had
wanna...
freighter.
I had freighter in mind.
Okay.
I think the high concept of the ship should just be Big Chungus.
Of all the words,
None of you are telling me no.
You had to say Chungus.
I could have said a
said
lot worse.
thick with two C's. Like we could have gone in so many, but you had to use Chungus.
Yeah.
I would like to point out the auto captioner got the word chungus
Thank
right.
you.
All right, so I have old reliable space freighter as the high concept. Definitely stolen as the trouble. Aspect, Big Chungus. I need one more aspect.
Yes. I'm winning fate.
Oh,
I can't
my
believe not a
God.
single one of you said no.
What are we supposed
Why would
to
we say
say
no to
to
that?
that?
No.
What are we supposed to say?
Say no.
This last one can
and
also-
savvy.
Oh my god. Does somebody have a last aspect in mind for the ship, or it can also relate to like your crew and like the reputation you have?
I have one for our reputation.
What?
Wait. I'm trying to think of a unit of measurement. What's a unit of measurement for space travel?
Knots. No, that's
No,
year?
like
Sea travel.
Parsecs.
Parsecs is... We live our lives a quarter parsec at a time.
parsecs is a measure of distance, though, right? But in Star Wars, it's not.
Doesn't it a measure of time in Star Wars?
No, yeah, no, it's a measure of like, they said that he made the thing in like 12 parsec, the Kessel Run in like 12 parsecs.
Well, he's
And they're
wrong.
like, that's a distance. No, yeah,
Again,
that's what it is.
yeah.
It is a distance.
yeah, it's unit for expressing distances to stars and galaxies. Yeah. So we could do a quarter. Okay, all right.
We
so...
live our lives a quarter parsec at a time.
I have a question.
Was that a
Okay.
fast?
Is the ship? Yes, family. That's all I got. The technology for these ships. I'm like playing around in my head of something like do we like talk to the ship? Like, I mean, does it have like an AI that like has a name that we tell to do stuff, or that tells us that some stuff is going on, or
It could.
Oh, Clarity's gonna fight the spaceship.
You guys
what
had
if it's-
mentioned wanting an
what if
NPC
it's-
named Control at some point. So I had considered that, but if you all have something more creative in mind, we can do that too.
What if the spaceship is so outdated that Clarity can't get into it?
Analog.
Like,
it's
Like, she
Unhackable.
can't hack it. It's an analog spaceship.
Why
Sometimes
would
just
you
has
do
to yell
this
at
to
it.
me?
Because
No, why would you
can't
do this
it.
to me? Why are you trying to nerf me? What did I ever do to you?
Listen, I like conflicts in my narratives.
Why are you trying to nerf me? What did I do to you?
Let Sam be a part of the narrative.
Fine, it could be unhackable.
I was just thinking
so
where the AI
frustrating.
is like maybe the AI is just like crotchety with us. Maybe we've got to like get the AI to warm up to us.
So
like maybe in
grumpy.
the 6 months time,
So
this AI
Clarity's
is like
really gonna
fuck these
fight the
people.
spaceship.
Basically, yeah.
So do you
I like,
want to go with
It's
AI
a-
or analog?
Oh no, we should go with. We could do like Marvin, the sad robot.
Oh, it's a sad AI.
Not necessarily sad, but like that vibe.
Pessimistic.
Well, we did steal them.
pessimistic. A pessimistic spaceship.
They were kidnapped.
I'm adding malfunctioning AI then to the as an aspect. Instead, do you want to do that instead of we live our lives a quarter parsec at a
No,
time?
I think you should. I want to keep that one. You can replace Big Chungus. As funny as I think that is, I don't want to have to keep saying it out loud.
Especially in an accent.
Yes, please, before, because since we're getting rid of it, could you please say Big Chungus in Choke's accent? Please.
Big Chungus.
What is that? Yeah, is that what that sounds like?
I think so.
Yeah.
Big
I think so.
Chungus?
You're welcome, Internet.
Make that your
Morgan's
ringtone.
Going to
I love
die.
it. Okay, let's speed through the rest of this. So since y'all are a technocratic anarchy, this is going to be fun. Y'all get 4 module points that you can spend. If you're a hierarchy, the captain gets the points and assigns them. If you're democracy, you must discuss and vote on how to spend them. If you're a technocratic anarchy, each player rolls a die. If you get a plus, you get 2 points. If you get a blank, you get 1 point. If you get a negative, you get 0.
No points. No points.
So everybody rolls a fate die.
Is that
If we roll a regular
is
die,
the-
it would be like 1 to 2 is negative, 3 to 4 is blank, and 5 to 6 is positive.
You
They
can
have
roll
them
one
on roll.
on roll.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's the DF.
Yeah, that whole thing.
Yeah. So
So just
roll
1.
Yeah, just roll 1 fate die.
Minus.
minus?
No points. No.
Did nobody get any points?
No, I got one.
What's the X?
That's
that's
blank.
a 0, so you
Yeah.
get
A
1
0.
point. So wait, so you get 1 point.
I got one.
You got a plus, or you just got the 1 point?
The one. I got 1 point.
Oh god.
I also got
okay.
1 point.
We have 2 points.
All right.
2 points.
Chaos.
2 points!
Chaos reigns.
All right. So your default your modules, you get a couple of default ones. I'm making note of this. I'm gonna make a sheet for all this. You get a command module.
Sorry,
A
I'm reading the description
cargo
of this
bay.
out of the book. You left out a very important part of this rule.
Oh yes, I was gonna get to that in a second. Yes. So if you're a technocratic anarchy, each player rolls a die and gets 0, 1, or 2 points to use however they want. In a true technocratic anarchy, each player then spends their module points without discussing their choice with the other players. You can talk about it together if you like, although the GM should probably add the aspect ideologically suspect closet Democrats to the crew members of your ship if you do.
So you guys
That
want to
seems
be
very fair.
ideologically suspect closet Democrats?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
We've only got 2 points.
We have 2
That's-
points.
So you guys have a command module, a cargo bay, and the Nerva rocket engine, which has 1 impulse and 3 thrust. So it's
You already
have
had 1 impulse. Now we have
Yeah.
2.
You have another. So your ship does not your fuel consumption is higher, but it can go fairly fast. Your thrust is higher. So you have the list of modules is on page 143 in the space book.
Facebook.
You have the cargo and the command module, so you could get a drone bay. You have 2 points, so you could get a drone bay, a fuel tank, habitat module, a heat sink, or use both points on a laser battery. Laser battery is like your attack, like weapons systems on the ship, like laser guns. Heat sink provides 1 heat stress box. When y'all are use the ship, you get a conflict. You're after a conflict or something, your ship will accumulate heat, too much heat, and your ship starts to malfunction and take damage. Habitat module allows your ship to have refresh, like fate points. Fuel tank gives you 2 fuel stress boxes, so you have more fuel to use. And a drone bay, you can attack and create an advantage with it. So,
You guys know what I'm gonna say. Drone.
So everything is 1. Or no, sorry, I was looking at the cost differently. So the fuel tank and the drone bay. That's right. Okay, the drone bay is 1 cost for every 2 drones. The fuel tank is 1 cost. The habitat module is 2. The heat sink is 2. The laser battery is 3. I was looking at that wrong. You could also give up your Nerva drive and gain an additional 2 modules points to spend.
I think
But
we're gonna want it, probably.
Probably want to be able to move, yeah.
Yeah. Drones?
Drones and fuel tank?
You could do that.
It's good as
Yeah, drones and fuel tank.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a drone bay with 2 drones and a fuel tank.
full of kegs of spicy fungus beer.
Is that our fuel?
It's my fuel.
In a pinch!
I mean, hey, it's combustible. It's alcohol.
Tag. Ideological suspect, closet Democrats.
Even we can't cause that much chaos.
Okay. That's basically it. I'll go ahead and calculate everything. We can talk about ship rules and stuff later on. We don't have to get it right now because it's late.
Didn't name the ship.
Oh, we need the name for the ship. What's the ship's name?
Well, I don't think we can do Robin Hood anymore. That doesn't fit the vibe.
Big Chungus?
Big Chungus.
I think we
Lil
should name
Jon?
it Big Chungus.
I hate it so much.
I hate
Chungus
it.
Among Us.
I hate it! I hate it! No! Okay, our ship looks ridiculous. Everyone thinks we're a joke. Can we at least have a cool name for the ship?
Armageddon.
Please.
Armageddon is good.
Armageddon.
Armageddon done.
Armageddon done.
You guys had somebody had the name Little John, or what was it?
All
Will
over
Scarlet.
that stuff.
Will Scarlet.
Will Scarlet. But we can't call it Will Scarlet if the thing's fucking neon orange.
I mean,
Sure
we
we
could
can.
change it to like crimson red, fire engine red. You guys are part of the red belts
True.
and potentially the only members.
Gotta keep the green flames on it, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those aren't particular.
Do you want to change that?
I like the hideous orange.
Could be called Will Scarlet, so everyone expects a red ship, they get an orange
Yeah.
ship.
Never
with
see
green
another.
flames.
That's true.
A name that just
Misnomer.
doesn't fit our ship at all.
Yeah, because it's big and orange. You guys called it Little Scarlet.
Little Scarlet.
Little Scarlet? Wait.
Or what did you call
We
it? Sorry.
subverted
Little
everything about
John
this
and
ship.
Will Scarlet,
Little John,
but-
Will Scarlet, Lil Scarlet.
Yeah.
Little Scarlet. For our gigantic bright orange ship. Lil Scarlet.
Little Scarlet.
I think we did it, guys. I think
Little
we
Scarlet.
win.
I
Do we
like
want to
that.
go with Little Scarlet?
I think we win. Not little. Lil.
Lil. With
Lil.
an apostrophe.
Little Scarlet. Okay.
What have we done?
I
Morgan,
don't
are you
know.
crying or laughing or both? You're crying?
This is art.
We're gonna regret these decisions at the beginning of our next
No. No,
So
what this is
much.
gonna turn into is that comic where it's like, oh, you make your D&D character and it's like fucking Bozo the Clown. And then the last panel of the comic is them like having a real dramatic moment with the clown bard and being like, no, go on without me. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? I'm just talking to
Yes,
thin air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh my
Morgan, are you
god.
okay?
You know, that comic that was going around Twitter 5 years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say timely. Okay. We have our ship. We're a
Little
little over time.
Scarlet.
Lil
Is there-
Scarlet.
Is there anything else that we want to do? You'll be able to upgrade your ship as you go and gain more module points and buy more things. So you're not stuck with the ship having exactly what it has right now the entire game.
Oh my god.
Oh boy. Okay. That's gonna be it then, y'all. Everyone feel good about their decisions?
Nope.
I'm still crying.
Regretting everything, but I love it.
I feel great.
Oh my god.
I feel wonderful about our decisions, and I don't think there's going to be any consequences whatsoever.
Never heard of him.
Wishful thinking. All right. We are going to end our session here then. Thank you. Remember homework for next time. Do your get your stunts. Think about those. Please don't wait until 10 minutes before the game next week to get back to me on those. And we can talk about them soon. And we'll get started with our Fate Space Pirate game next time. Thank you everyone out there for watching and enjoying this chaos as usual. We'll be back in 1 week for our next session. Thank you to my lovely players for making the session 0 very fun and giving all of us a bright spot at the end of our week. We got to laugh and name a ship, Big Chungus, very briefly.
I tried.
I was with you.
No, come on. Everything else can be ridiculous. We gotta have a cool name.
Little Scarlet's a
Kind of.
pretty good name.
Lil Scarlet's cute.
The ship?
If we want
Not
to
so
change,
much.
if we want to change anything for next week, we can. And nothing is stopping you guys from, in character, changing the name of your ship at any point. But right now, the crew of the Little Scarlet will get up to space pirating starting next session. And we will see everyone out there in the chat next time. And until then, good game and good night, Internet.